Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday and Easter if you celebrate, and welcome to my new friend, Blaine Smith of Blaine Reads Tarot. So happy to have you here, Blaine. Thank you for
having me. Happy Easter to everyone. Happy spring for everyone else.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's been quite the with I guess there was Passover going on last weekend or something like that for our Jewish friends, but oh, I wonder who came to see you first. Yeah. Hi, Ferny. It's good to see you. And yes, Blaine happens to be the quote friend and partner of Blaine Smith. And thank you, Ferny, for introducing us to each other. We're just having a great time backstage talking about your tulip trip and things like that. So, yeah.
Santa Fe and Taos.
And Taos, yeah. I'm going to say hello to some folks who are already here. Dawn and Star Midnight and Linda Bishop cooking her Thanksgiving, Easter dinner in Texas. We got Donna Marie and Donna O'Brien and Carolyn and Peter, who hopes the Easter Bunny has been good to everybody. Yeah. I ended up buying some Easter candy, which was probably a very bad mistake. But
I'm careful about that myself.
Have you? Yeah.
Once I buy a little, I tend to just keep buying it. But I love
candy. Yeah.
So
yeah. And actually, it's better to wait till tomorrow and get it much cheaper.
That's
right?
True. That's true.
Oh, hello, Wiki. It's good to see you too. So yes, so we're going to just talk a little bit. I want to find out a little bit more about Blaine and his process and how he became a reader. And then we'll do some mini readings for you. That's his stuff down at the bottom. And so you'll be able to see him as he does his card readings. And I'll pull some oracle cards and we'll just have a little bit of fun today. So yeah, Absolutely. There you go. Hi, Sarah. It's great to see you too. So Blaine, when did all this become interesting to you? How long has your spiritual journey been going on?
You know, the spiritual journey didn't start with cards until the past, let's say, 5 years. I mean, it really was sort of a pandemic thing. I had, I once had a palm reading when I was a senior in high school at Long Beach. I was at a conference in college, theater technology conference in college, and we had a free afternoon, and I went to a palmist on Long Beach, and, I was 22. And she was great. She was one that she took both hands and she told me what each line meant and how each hand differed. And she saw things in me that there was just no way I thought she could have, like I have a skeptical mind. I'm like, oh, there's no way she's reading me, but it just blew my mind.
Sure.
I had been searching for further clairvoyant events throughout life. And I lived in New York for a long time. And so I would go occasionally on birthdays and find tarot readers or find energy readers or psychics with their little sandwich boards out on the street, and you would go up and sit outside of their apartments in the hallway.
Wow.
And there was, because they're just conducting business. There's always like a little cafe table with,
that's cool.
Just right outside their door, and also like a bag of their garbage just sitting next to it. I mean, it's very, very New York. And I said a few of those, and none of them really hit home. And so, and then strangely, I went to Santa Fe about a year ago, and in my trip to Santa Fe, I'm sort of like, okay, here are the things that I want to do while I'm there. I'll go on hikes, go to some spas, go to the museums. But I would like to find a psychic and see a psychic while I'm there. And then sure enough, I ended up meeting our friend Ferny down there, and
you met him that way. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I put that out there, and so it wasn't what I expected, and it's been great. But my journey with tarot started, I remember, I think I had a reading from a friend who had some light interest in college. And then a few years ago, during the pandemic, maybe early pandemic, I was reading a book, and they was talking about a tarot read. And I remember that, I have this friend who does tarot. So I contacted him and was like, hey, can you do a reading for me? I'm really interested. And he's like, well, I don't really have time right now. And so he just pulled one card, and I got it out here. This was the exact deck. It was fun. This is the Fountain deck. And at the time, so this is the Four of Cups, and for those who don't know anything, or it's about feeling self-pity. It's about feeling angst and feeling ennui and feeling disappointed with the world and feeling really fixated on the problems. And if you can sort of see, it was this image of this person in this dark place with these three empty cups right in front of him.
Right. Yep.
And so at the time, this was, I moved to Portland, where I'm at now, 7.5 years ago. This was 2 to 3 years into that. I was having a hard time making community, making friends. I didn't have partnership in my life. I was, constantly dating and finding nothing that was working. I was having trouble with my family relationships, and my parents are no longer with us. So I was feeling those losses too.
Sure, of course. A lot of loss. Yeah.
And I was the job, actually it was pandemic. So I was unemployed and I didn't have the fulfilling career. And so I was just so fixated on all of the things in my life that I didn't have, that I was feeling like this fellow in a dark place, so focused on what I didn't have. And then when you look at this card, you realize that there is a fourth cup off to his side, and it's
he doesn't
full.
see it. Yeah.
And at the time it just hit so hard. And it became, this image became a constant reminder at that time of, if I'm feeling this way of, I looking at everyone else's lives around me, I don't have these things, I don't have this, it's making me feel bad. Focus on the thing that I do have. If I can change my perspective, then maybe this one cup will be enough to fill the rest of the cups. And maybe this one cup will be enough for me.
Yeah.
So it just became such a quick mental image that was so charged emotionally and had so much intention in it, that it just became a quick shortcut and inspiration. So I'm a Taurus, so I went very deep into tarot immediately. And I was this was the deck I learned on. I tried learning with the Rider Smith, the classic Rider Smith Waite.
Yeah.
I took an online class. Yeah. I took an online class through Portland Community College. And so it was great and it was fun, but it was exactly the sort of idea of what an online tarot class would be. And then I just started my own practice and learning each deck. I got so into it. I would buy myself a new deck every 2 or 3 months, and I would really multiple, a couple of cards in the morning for intention, and then at the end of the day, a couple of cards. And the amount of times, and I kept a little journal, and the amount of times that, I would pull a card in the morning, and it would be asking a question, and then the very same card at night that I would shuffle. There are 78 cards in the deck.
Right. And you got the same card?
Same card to answer the same question. Wow. And so then these cards that become charged emotionally, then they would pop up later on. It just reminded me of, okay, do I need to check in around feeling sorry for myself and not focusing on what I do have? And it became a great sort of visual, emotional language. So so I would learn more. I would foist it on friends and relatives, like, here, let me do a read for you.
Practice is really needed. Yeah.
It is. And it became such, I kind of liken it to, at times we have in our lives, we're at a knotted rope moment, and we don't really know how to untie that rope. But if you start pulling at the strands, if you just start opening up the knot a little bit, you begin to see a way out. You begin to see past the blocks. And so I look at tarot not so much as a predictive medium for me. Now, I know there are lots of people who can tap into a sort of future precognition idea. I really look at focusing on the present. And so what can we do in the present? How can we understand ourselves in the present? In some ways, it's a mirror holding up what we need to be seeing anyway. And so these picture cards draw out of us what it is that we're either not seeing or afraid to see or need to see in that moment. And so we're like Rorschach almost, like we imbue them with our own meaning. And so then as a practitioner, then I'm able to sit next to you and help hold the mirror. And then I can connect the threads. And because these are my decks and I know their personalities, because each deck has its own personality.
Right.
And there are certain decks that I no longer use because I have this very beautiful, very well crafted, I won't mention the name, but it's very black and it's very sexy. And it was very expensive. And I worked with it for a whole season, and the cards never talked to each other. I couldn't get them to communicate. They were not intuitive. I couldn't read them. Because all good cards, I think, particularly this deck, was a great one. If anyone is out there wants to learn tarot and doesn't want to go with a more traditional Rider-Smith way, that this one is very intuitive and just interpret the pictures.
Sure.
How we interpret the pictures brings out of us what we need to see. And then I, as this person leading you, guiding you through this process, I love that I get to just sort of put my thumb on the scale sometimes when, because, you know, empathy, intuition, and just be like, I'm hearing you, Aley, I'm hearing you say this, and this seems important to you in this moment. And, you know, to not always rely on the traditional meanings of the cards.
Thank you. That's so important. That is an important thing. You're absolutely right. Sometimes you can look at a picture and you can, for instance, the Empress or the what is it? The lady with the bird holding the bird. I can't think of which card that is. But you know, sometimes you focus on the bird. Sometimes you focus on the lady. Sometimes it's what's calling to you in that particular reading. So I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
And you know, much like hieroglyphics or Chinese characters or even emojis, like a single card by itself tells a story, but as you put them together, it tells a different story. It tells a thicker, deeper, richer story. And even, you know, as we're using these picture cards as we lay them out, how they relate to each other, I like to pay attention to eye lines if they're figures. And so like, where are the eye lines looking? And depending on how we build a spread. So for instance, if we were doing a kind of long spread like this, wide, that this would probably represent the past and we would move forward into the future. And so anything, so like in this instance, if this is the past and this is the future, this person is very much fixated. He's looking in the past. He's focused on the past. And so that adds an extra element of potential meaning. And, you know, some of it is like throwing the spaghetti at the wall with whoever and to see what is important. You know, it's less important for me to predict your future, but I hope that through this process, we can look at your present, where you're at now, perhaps where you have come from, and we can set intentions. We can set how you move into your future. And so in a way, I love that tarot gives choice. It is about free will. I believe it is about free will. Others will believe there's a sort of predestination and fate element to it. But I believe the magic to me is the mind. And the mind and how we believe, how we think can affect how we behave, act, and develop in the future. And also we get the choice of choosing to reject a card. A very dear friend of mine, it was actually in this deck somewhere, is the Sun, which is traditionally this very joyful, very optimistic, very past battles are won kind of message to it. And she saw the sun. It's like a baby floating in the sun, and she did not like it. I mean, it's this beautiful blue sky and this light image, and she responded so negatively to it that is then as the person with her, like, okay, why does that feel scary? Why does that feel bad to you to see this and understand? Are you not in a place right now where you are able to see the joy, to accept positivity? It is important. And then if this image is disturbing to you, like, let's talk about that a little bit and see how that might relate to where we go further in the future.
Absolutely. Two things come to mind, Blaine. The first thing is you're a fantastic teacher. You've already taught us something. The other thing is that because I teach at the college level, I also have taught film classes, and you would be a great film analyst because you go with image. You do.
Well, and I grew up in the theater. I was an actor. I was a stage actor for 25 years, and still, you know, it's still sort of there. And I mean,
it is.
I'm so happy that you brought that up because there's so much power in both image and story. And I know we learn so much from just, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, it's also worth 2,000 emotions. It just, we instinctively understand. We have our culture, actually Jung was a huge practitioner.
Dreams too.
Exactly. And that these archetypes that we have carried through our culture, they resonate within us. And so
They do.
it's so helpful, and we all react to them slightly differently. And so, which is why which is why I practice. I mean, it's how I was taught, like interpret the image first and then go to the traditional meanings. And if that adds context and if that adds extra depth, then use it. But also if it contradicts, keep with your original interpretation.
Right.
Because that's the one that's most
That's the one that's probably right. That's
Absolutely.
right. There's a lot of people that are afraid to say what their first, especially when it's interesting because I have had mediums on and their first reaction is they see this figure and it's like, I can't tell the sitter that but the sitter finally, when you gain the courage to do it, they go, oh, it made sense to the sitter.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. Here's a question Denise has. What do you do with the voices you hear while you're reading? That's an interesting.
I mean, I don't hear voices.
Okay.
And I know that there are a lot of practitioners that have a connection to that in that spirit, in that way, spiritually, metaphysically. I really try to work off of who I'm sitting down with, which is why I read for myself a lot, and sometimes I'll get really great, powerful messages from the cards. But it's just helpful to be able to read the person that you're with, to listen to them, to listen to what their experience is, their experience with the cards, what their experience is in life. And so my guide is the other person in the reading. And I try to, Ferny actually gets on me because he's like, you don't tell people bad news. And sometimes they need to hear bad news. I was like, that's true. There's plenty of bad news out in the world. But if I can hopefully empower, like if there are bad cards that come up, they are traditionally bad cards. They look evil. They look spooky. But we have a choice in how we move forward with knowing that might affect us. So there are ways, even the Tower, which is generally one of the worst cards to get because it means destruction and chaos. But there is also a message of hope, and
there is, because things will be rebuilt.
Exactly. And you and I up here in the Northwest know, like, forest fires, unfortunately, we have to deal with them, and they're horrible. But once a fire clears out, then all this new life can happen. And so, unfortunately, sometimes in life, we need the Tower to clear out our forest. But know that new life will come from disaster and catastrophe sometimes.
And there is a way to couch things. I think I remember a reader once saying to me, if I tell you that you're going to fall off a horse on Tuesday, you have the decision to ride it or not. And then that won't happen. So I like that. Yeah. So Denise is further. I'm sorry, I didn't get her whole thing. She says a writer paints with words is her quote. And I would say that a tarot reader looks at those painted words or those painted images and makes sense out of them according to their own understanding. So that's what you have explained, really. Yes, Reem. Yes, you can put a thing in. I'm going to have to shut it. I have about 10 people right now that want reading. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, put it in and then we'll, it tells the story with the pictures. Yes, it does, Denise. And I know my friend Denise has a channel and she does readings and she will look at a tarot kind of the way you do, Blaine, because it's not so traditional for her. It's whatever she feels the image is presented. So yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. Hi, Jeff. It's good to see you. All right. Thank you. Yes, I did, Andrea. I got yours. Hold on. Oops. Reem. All right. I'm going to say at this point, we're going to need to, we got enough to do right now. And I'm moving that up there so that if I put the question in, it doesn't block your cards. All right. So here we go. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really love to hear people's story. And I will tell you that during the pandemic is when I opened my channel. And I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I just didn't know how it was all going to turn out. I ended up interviewing people mostly in the beginning, even though I'd been a metaphysical person for 30 something years. I just didn't know what my part was. And so I'm partially Baba Wawa and partially a reader, I guess, at this point. So
Well,
yeah.
and I'll even call back to what we were just talking about the tower. Similar, like the destruction and the catastrophe and the chaos of the COVID era was an opportunity for. I wrote a book in that time.
Oh, good.
I pursued hopefully that book needs to be edited and we're going to get it out there.
But you did something. You didn't just sit around.
It was, I lost a job that I kind of hated at the time, and it turned into a blessing. And so again, from destruction, we get to choose how we move forward in different ways.
That's right. Absolutely. I have to ask one more question.
Absolutely.
You met Ferny in 19, I think you said, when you went to Santa Fe. Is that right?
No, it hasn't even been a year yet. I mean, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was just, we're rolling right up on a year here.
All right. But when you just knew.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you just knew.
We met, it was, we walked through a museum hand in hand in a way that no one, I think, looking at us would have been like, oh, look at this. It's a first date. It was just sort of new from. Yeah, it was crazy.
Gosh, I love that. That gives me goosebumps, Blaine.
Like nothing I've ever experienced. So
yeah, I get it.
I guess
when I met my husband, I met him. We communicated via email, but I met him in El Paso. He came on a bus, and I had my RV, and we drove it to Santa Fe, and that's where we made our magic, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so it is a very magical place. Everybody should at least visit.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway.
Drink lots of water, and give yourself a break. It's very high up.
That I go to the oxygen bar if you need to.
Gosh,
that's what I had to do.
Else do. I had no conception yet. Yeah.
I know. But it was so cool. You could pick, tangerine, and they'd put it in your oxygen. Right. You could have different flavors. Right. Yeah. It's kind of fun. All right. So here's the list, guys. Star Midnight, Donna Marie, Andrea, Viviani, Dupre, Wildflower, Wiki, KK, and Sweet Pea. Oh, LP, and if I can get to it, Flower Beauty. We'll see. Okay. We got plenty to do here for right now. So we'll start with this one. When I buy a townhouse, is it best to buy a brand new one that will be built by June 2025 or one that's a few years old? All right. Please be in the chat also. Reem, you're on there too.
Okay, can I ask Star to, because I believe tarot is all about choice, and so there are 4 decks in front of them, and to choose deck 1, 2, 3, or 4. All
right, Star, pick your deck 1, 2, 3, or 4. There's a little bit of a delay. So. 4.
4, excellent. So, because tarot is about choice, but it's also incorporates the 4 alchemical elements, and I just love that as a metaphor.
Sure.
So, Star, you picked my water deck. So this
is pretty.
Like water is very dreamy and light. It shimmers. Sometimes it's easy to see through, and sometimes it's a little more occluded. But so it sounds like you are debating between these two choices of your houses. So normally I would have you choose these cards because I would run my finger along them and have you tell me when to stop, but I will try to just concentrate on your question and where you're at. Okay. And all right, Star. So this one, I'm going to do 3 cards. The first one is where you're at right now, just as a check-in. And then we'll do the new house option on the left, something to represent that. And then for the a few years older house, we'll do on the right, that option. So this is also where I say that some practitioners believe in reversals, that if the card is upside down, it means the reverse, the shadow version, or the opposite. I think the cards encompass so much meaning that depending on what question they answer, how they relate to each other, that there's a lot to work with. And so if it shows up reversed, I flip it over. So this is just Star of Midnight, where you are right now, Page of Swords. So I would generally try to ask you your thoughts on this, but we can't do that with the chat. But the Page of Swords swords are the mental realm. It is how we communicate. It is how it's the element of air. It's how we see truth, how we see clarity. So the fact that this is the page, and the page tarot is also about cycles and cycles within cycles. So in the court cards, which are the page, knight, king, queen, some decks will call them slightly different things. I like to keep those traditional archetypal gender roles in there because I think it affects the meaning, but please, if you prefer a genderless deck, I would say use those as well. But the page is like the kid. It's like this kid with this brand new idea. And so this is around your mental realm, tells me that you are, and then even in fact, the way that you ask the question is so cuts right to it. It is so, this is your idea. And so this is your focus. And it's interesting enough, and I say, as we talk about the cards relating to each other, so look where the eye line is going in this card, which tells me that you're looking towards option. This was the newer house. So already I'm led to believe like, okay, maybe this new house option is where your mind is really at. And so we'll see what would come up from there. But this just tells me that there's a lot of excitement and there's a lot of, it's a new idea, this idea of a new house, new home. And so it's connecting in that way. So to represent the newer home, we have the 7 of coins. And 7 of coins is very much, and it's interesting as you see how they eye line, I don't know if it depending on how close you are to your screen, they are looking at the same thing and they are looking at this pile of coins. So this is how sort of I like to interpret the image. 7 of coins is about methods of work. It's also how you, it's like harvesting coin. So how do you reap your riches? And because it is, coins are your material realm, about how you work, how you earn money. Sometimes it's about your body. Sometimes it's about your immediate home environment. The fact that we're seeing both ideas of money and growth and this idea of your immediate material environment around the idea of which home to buy. We see this reflected here. We see the heads focused very much on this pile of coins. Already I'm being drawn to the idea that this is where your mind is looking anyway. The 7 of coins can also be, it's about fruition of efforts, so reaping what you've harvested. So have you saved up money for this? Has this been, you've been saving up for this? This has been the thing that you have been working towards. You planted these seeds a while ago and now you're ready to watch them grow. I'm already just sort of seeing a strong connection in this direction around this choice, but let's see what this older house option has to say. And that is the Magician.
Oh.
So now we're looking at the eye line again. The Magician is looking right out at us, and the Magician is not looking to where your focus is at. And the Magician is about creation. It is that the Magician has control over all of the elements and can use them, can make them work. It is a spark of creation. It's also a spark of willpower and determination. And the Magician creates things from his will using all of the elements. So in this, around the idea of the new house, I would say, again, it seems that your focus is really clearly here. And that is that you have been saving for it, you've been planning for it. We see this image of a hoe and that you've been gardening for it, that this is what you've been working on. I don't think, even going with an older house, it tells me that you get to, if you choose that path, you get to create your own world. So maybe that is not a newer house that might be all, that might, the fixtures might be in, that the housing itself may be, it may not be exactly what you imagine, but I think this tells me that if you choose this path, you get to create the world that you want to live in. So it might be that it is an older house that needs a bit of work. It might, you might get the idea of recreating, maybe there's remodel involved in that, but it is very much about a new idea, a promising new idea, understanding all of the elements involved in that process. And it's telling you, these are telling me that this is where your focus is on this new house 2025 option. But this is also not a bad sign either, that you get to create whatever future, whatever home environment, as this question is around your home environment, that I think either way will be a success. It's just, I think with the page here, it's feeling like the newness and the excitement of this idea feels like this is where you're being drawn to. But I also don't think that this is a bad choice for you either, which is maybe not helpful. But it's telling me that there's a bit of conflict, but I think you'll succeed both ways.
All right. Well, and the Magician being a major arcana really confirms to me that either way is going to be a-okay. Right. Yeah. There's
an idea of promise and a newness in here as well. Similar vibe to the Page of Swords, with the idea of something new and like using your new tools, except the Magician has all of the tools at their command.
Sure. That's awesome. Thank you so very much. Well, all right. So, So Donna Marie and Andrea, put up 1 through 4, and let Blaine know which deck you would like to use. That way he'll be ready when you get up here. So Donna's looking for a message from Spirit. All right. Let's see what I have, if I have anything for you. Are you feeling? I hope you're feeling better, Donna Marie. She hasn't felt well for a while. Number 2 for her, please. Andrea. Okay, thank you, Andrea. I will mark yours. All right. Good, Star. Thanks for the feedback. She says, you're very correct. I'm very drawn to a new townhouse, but a second thought is maybe an older one would be best. So, yeah, good. I think it's all about the money too, isn't it, Star? You know? Yeah. You're almost back, Donna. Good. All right. I'm just going to, while he's shuffling, I'm just going to say, Donna, you got the Awakening card. And I love these old-fashioned pictures. They just speak to me so much. This is a deck that was done by a former Arthur Rackman, who was an artist. Did this as a deck, and it's just such a beautiful deck. It says, you have but slumbered here while the visions did appear. Isn't that cool?
Oh, right. And this is my theater nerd coming in, Donna. This is a line from Midsummer Night's Dream. It's how the play is closed by Puck, the little sprightly spirit who has had all this mischief. Yeah. And it's meant to be, I don't know, maybe I'm going extra on the meaning here, but it's meant to be a way of, if Midsummer Night's Dream, the play, it's a comedy, but it's people basically take drugs and change partners in the woods. Like it's a kind of drugged up, light, like key party, and then at the end, everyone gets kind of bedraggled and the fairies lead them all astray. And so to these characters, it's obviously been a big tragedy, and they switch partners and all this mischief has happened to them, and some have even transformed. And it's been an ordeal for the characters of the play. We as the audience get to enjoy it. But that quote there from the end of the play is about resetting everything back to that it's all been a dream. It resets our context as an audience member. So as I'm hearing that maybe you have been through some health issues lately, that an additional message from the spirit from that card is that not to downplay any of the health issues, but that it is a sign of, we get to reset, we get to we get to enjoy the process of the great drama of life. And so hopefully this means a happy ending for you right now.
Yeah. What and Ferny says, always go extra, baby. There you go. And Brenda says,
when it comes to Shakespeare, like, ooh,
I get it.
That was my thing.
That was your thing. Brenda says Puck is restoring order at the end of the play. So see, you're not the only one. Yeah. That's so
yes, I love it.
Yeah. She says she does feel like she's reset. So, Blaine, you're going to have to sometimes maybe check into some oracle cards too. I know you can do them.
Yeah. Well, and here's just my Taurus mindset. I love the structure of the tarot. I love applying this. It's not a rigid structure, but I love that there are stories, and so of course. Yeah. All right, so I'm pulling from deck 2, and I can't remember what I was pulling for.
This is for Donna Marie about her question from message from spirit.
Oh yes, yes.
And that's who we just sort of read that card with.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Wild Raven. It's nice to see you. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the 6 of Cups. And under the 6 of Cups, so Cups is our, it is the suit of water. And so it is all about our emotional realm. And I love, if I had you with me across the table, I would point out this circular motion. I would point out that they are living in this bubble. If you can sort of see, it's 2 figures and they're exchanging a cup, they're giving. The 6 of Cups is about remembering our past, about remembering joy from the past, perhaps forgotten joy. It is a fond reminiscence of the past. And so it hints at this sort of, if you're having and have had and are going through perhaps a rough time emotionally, to remember some forgotten joy from your past. It asks us to reconnect to our inner child and to enjoy some of that joy, and just know that. And so the circle is also around the idea of reciprocity, that if we give love, we get love, and to remember that sort of, that circle from our past, that cycle. So it's asking you, if you're feeling like it's been a hard time, and I love that this is the sort of message from the spirit, that it's asking you to remember perhaps better times and know that the cycle continues and you will move forward and find these better times. But if we're feeling like we're in a dark place, it's okay to remember the light that we had from an earlier chapter. And it's also an even number, which always hints at balance. And even just looking at the card, it's very symmetric.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's very calming. I know this deck, there are some that are more intense in coloration, and so that this is lighter, airier, and that there is this lovely sort of scene happening in an internal place.
Okay. Awesome. Beautiful. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Very nice. Blaine is doing some exceptional readings today, folks. So I just want you to make sure that you know. She said joy surrounds her. Thank you. She loved that.
Good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So the next person that we have is Andrea, and Andrea wants deck 2.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Deck 4.
Deck 4. Okay.
I apologize.
That's fine. It's all right. So deck 2 was the air deck, just in anyone's keeping score out there, and then we're using our water deck again.
Yeah, Ferny, it's by Duck Soup, who is its own, you go to ducksuit.com and he prints them off. I have a lot of his decks. He has another one that's really cool called the Wiggly. The Wiggly. They're all old-fashioned pictures that this man does. So yeah. And I got one that's called the Brownies Oracle too. So yeah, kind of fun. Just fun decks. That's okay, Wild Raven. Yeah. Marina is my sister, if you know what I mean. She's not my sister by blood, but we work a lot together, so it's fine. All right. I'll let you concentrate. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? This is for Andrea, and what are we doing?
For Andrea, she said, who on the other side visited me on my birthday yesterday?
Well, first of all, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. Yeah.
And we'll see.
Ooh.
So I will say that I don't have a connection to the spirits in that way. But I will point out this is the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is about grief. And it is about befriending grief. It is what I love about the Suit of Cups is it embraces the full spectrum of our emotional world. And so sometimes that is love, and that is partnership, and that is family, and it is community, and sometimes it is grief, and it's remembering those that are no longer with us. So while I don't know, I can't say for certain who came to visit you yesterday. I'm glad that they did. What I am certainly seeing here is we have a representation of grief and of loss, and I have lost. I mean, this is going to sound funny. I've lost many people.
Me too.
And I volunteer in a grief support center regularly because I think grief is not something that we in our culture know how to talk about, and those of us who have experienced really profound loss, we understand it, but generally people don't. And there's a great value in grief. It reminds us, loss is what we feel when that great love is no longer in our grasp, but it is there and it left an impact. And, we see this figure, it hurts. It hurts at times. I hope on your birthday, it felt like a joyful visitation. I will just, like sometimes we focus, similar as I was talking about at the beginning, the empty cups, like we focus on the cups that are spilled here of what we no longer have. And I will also say that there are 2 cups behind that are full.
That's right.
And it's equally important to remember those that we've lost and to remember those that we have. So I can't say who came to you yesterday, but I can say, based on the card that came up, how much that they meant to you, and that you're feeling that grief. I think even in a moment perhaps of joy or on a birthday, we feel we feel this at anniversaries, at birthdays, and we feel these days that we are used to being connected to those that we've loved that have passed over. And so I just want to say, hey, Andrea, I'm sorry I'm happy that someone came to you yesterday. I don't know who it was, but I know that they were loved. And I think that's something that you were loved and that they know that you miss them.
Very good. Very good. And I pulled out some cards from my beloved dead deck. And you said your dad passed and your grandma's passed. And it looks to me like your 2 grandmas passed all within a close period of time. I'm getting here. This person is saying it's a privilege to love you and to watch what you're doing and how you are doing it down there, especially on your birthday. Somebody was your compass. Somebody may, and this is a woman, but that doesn't mean it isn't your dad. But if it could be one of these people was the person that showed you how to move through life or your true north, that kind of thing. And they said, we just sent a little messenger to you because they do hang around us on the holidays and our birthdays. Yeah.
And I'd even say both your dad, and I'm sorry for all of them, your dad and both of your grandmothers. We have three cups that are no longer.
That's it. There you go. Yes. Beautiful, Blaine. Yep. Yeah. Interesting card that shows the, oh my. Yeah. Gone but not forgotten.
No. And treasured. And we get, sometimes grief is a gift that we get to carry with us.
Well, thank you, Brenna. Yeah, it is. It is. All right. So let's see here. Trying to get to the next person. Viviani, put up your deck number, please, and Dupre, if you would do it. So will you be ready to do some? You just lost your uncle too? Oh my goodness, honey. I am so sorry. That's way too many people to lose. Wow. Hi, Danita. Yeah. All right. So Viviani is a very talented Akashic Records reader. So she would love a message from Spirit. Number two. Number two. Yeah.
Judgment.
Ooh. Okay.
Which we have another major arcana, a nice, big, powerful message. Judgment is, forgive me if anyone who already knows this, but the major arcana, the 21 cards. I talked about the 4 elemental suits. Major arcana is sort of the 5th suit of spirit. Tends to be bigger messages. And so the card 0 is the Fool. Actually, it's 22. Card 0 is the Fool, and cards 1 through 21 represent what is often known as the Fool's journey. It's our path towards enlightenment. And so we talk about tarot being about cycles and cycles within cycles. So card 20, where Judgment, is near the completion of a cycle. And so it tells me that, and particularly the big cycle towards enlightenment. Judgment is sometimes shown traditionally. Actually, I just did a reading the other day for a friend, and Judgment came up in the traditional Rider-Smith Waite, and it's this angel image blowing up from the heavens, inviting the departed to join them in this spiritual place. And so we can even see sort of here this, it is a trumpet, it's a fire, it's an invitation. It is an invitation to transform, like a doorway is being presented to you. Judgment is also sometimes about that idea of Judgment Day, that, there is like good will be rewarded and bad will be punished. And so there is an element of causality, and you get what you pay for. And so you're being invited to take the next step to your next level. And that if you have, it's kind of a check on, like if you're ready to reach the next level, then you will move on. And if you're not quite there, then you might have work to do still in this chapter.
Wow. She says she's in the middle of change and transformation.
And transformation, and imagine there's a deck I love that it's my personal deck that I do all my readings on, and it's this beautiful sort of winter wonderland scene of these sort of winter skeletal trees, and at the end of this snowy lane there's this doorway to full of light and color and spectral energy, and so you're almost there, and you still have a little bit down this path to walk, but you're so close you can see the end in sight. And so I love that it's resonating with you, the idea of transformation, change, that you have done the work, and so you shall reap. Similar to when the 7 of Pentacles came up earlier, the idea of reap what you've sown. You have done the work, so you get to harvest the fruits of your spiritual growth and transformation.
Beautiful. And so what do you suppose I pulled?
Oh,
isn't that amazing? And then the next one I pulled is beginning at the end. And it's this fellow's at the door. It's hard to see on here, but he's at the door and he's talking with somebody, and he's old. There's 2 old people and they're holding a baby. And so it's like, we're old, you're young. So the end and the beginning. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So something is calling you to the next plane.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it.
That is awesome. Wow. I love it when that happens. I really do. Oh, good, Viviani. That's nice.
Yes. Good luck.
Yeah.
You've earned it, is one thing. Like, you've done it. You've done the work.
You've done the work. Yep. Fabulous. All right. So Dupre, let me see what she put in the number. I know she did. I know I saw it. Dupre, did you put the number in? Deck 1. Deck 1. Thank you, Dupre. Yep.
All right. Dupre is looking.
Just a message, I think. Yeah. And sometimes I love that because it's so intuitive,
I also love that our messages are aligning. So
absolutely. Me too. Yeah. They call it the psychic bounce. Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, you're welcome, Viviani. Yeah. All right. Message for Dupre. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to let him pull his card. Yes, he does. Ooh.
All right.
Castles
So here
in
we
the
have,
air. All right.
we have the Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups, again, we're talking about the emotional world, the emotional realm. And the Seven of Cups is quite often about dreaming and fantasy and sometimes illusion. But there's also a message of daydreaming too much. I wonder if you are considering, if there's a lot on your mind lately, if you are considering different paths, if you are remembering different circumstances, different scenes, because the Seven of Cups is about getting lost in the choices or getting lost in fantasies or daydreams. And so, which doesn't always sound nice. So maybe that's not the message that you would want, but it does also, there's a lesson in there. There's an instruction and action to focus on one thing, make a choice, move through, because here we have the seven and the minor arcana, the ace, the four different suits, ace through 10 and page through king. They each represent different types of cycles, but seven being an odd number tends to represent imbalance, tends to represent blockages. And so you're being seven closer to 10. So we're getting to the end of a cycle, but is this a hurdle? Is this an obstacle? Kind of similar to what we were talking about with judgment are you coming to the end of a cycle and are you getting blocked from your flow with too many options? So it just asks you to, it's great to fantasize. It's great to daydream. It's great to wool gather and dream up different paths. But at some point, we do have to choose a path or two to move us forward in time. So I wonder if that is resonating at all. But also because it's water, that's potentially creating a lot of emotional energy in you. And so that's okay too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, I pulled two cards for you, Dupre. I pulled the Fellowship card, which says to me, either you are feeling more aligned with people that you have the same energy with, and it's drawing you out to, and so it might be that the options that you have, maybe if you connected with some of the people around you and said, what do you guys think? It doesn't mean you have to do what they say, but you just get a variety of answers because they say you have a charming personality and magnetism, and you can draw in whatever it is you need. So you would make the decision yourself, and you're like a magnet for that decision when it comes. So there you go. Yeah.
I would even say that that perhaps the Seven of Cups is the obstacle you're at right now, and the action, the message you're being given is to rely on your community and to know that you will attract the community that you need to further your choices, to further your block, to continue the flow.
It's like the rest of the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. Wowee. All right. So Wildflower Wind, you're next. If you would put your deck choice in, please. And Wiki. I am not sure we're going to get to everybody. We're going to try.
I'm sorry. I love to talk. I do too much of it.
No, it's perfectly fine. Honestly,
I run long sometimes because I can't.
No, but I love it. It's very,
so.
It's very informative. You're teaching as you're going, so there's nothing wrong with it. But we'll do a few more, and if Blaine has to go, I'll stay a little while and finish them up. But whatever it is that.
Oh no, I'm happy to stay.
You want to finish them up? All right. I don't want to. Usually I go about an hour.
I appreciate people giving us the time, and I'm happy to.
All right, that's good. Yeah, we're both of us aren't big celebrants of the holiday, so this for us is
going to celebrate tomorrow with half off Cadbury eggs.
So am I. The caramel ones. The caramel ones. Yes. All right. Yeah, everybody's enjoying the conversation. That's good. So Wildflower is number 3. Yeah.
I love it. Ooh, I love it.
Yeah. All right. And thank you, Wiki, for putting up your choice. All right.
Am I living my truth? Okay. So for those at home, this is my fire deck. It's very creative. It's drawn by 4 different artists. So it takes some risks. It's very story bound, very character driven, and it's vibrant and full of life. So
nice. Thank you, Don Turner.
All right, Wildflower. This sounds like maybe we'll do 2 cards because there's 2 questions there. Are you living your truth? And then an action you're being asked. So, all right, first one we'll check. Are you living your truth? And if not, where to focus?
Oh, thank you, Brenna.
All right. Are you living your truth? Okay, so here we again.
Ooh.
So this is the 6 of Cups in a different deck.
Beautiful.
So we'll look in there. I mean, I get a sense of like witches around a coven, around a cauldron in the woods. Yeah. But as it is, this is around the 6 of Cups again. So we're in our emotional realm, in the water, suit of water, and this is about remembering an image from the past, holding on to that as far as the traditional meanings. So hold on to forgotten joy, tap into your inner child. Remember also that there's community around you. So as this is asking around the question of, are you living the truth? I would say that this is the answer. I would say, what would your inner child say? What would innermost you feel about where you are now? What would community you have built to create something full of life and energy? What would they say? How do they reflect that question back to you? There is an idea. I mean, this card, the traditional, is about remembering the past. So again, it takes us back to the idea of time. And as this is answering the question, are you living your truth? Again, I want to say, like, ask your inner child how they feel about this question. And then if not, where to focus. So this is the 9 of Cups. This is a really high gloss card. So if you can see, it's
beautiful.
It's this little person wearing bunny ears, ironically on Easter, in this like tea shop filled with these giant cats.
Oh, wow.
So the 9 of Cups is about wish fulfillment. So again, we have both of these are cups. So there is a lot of emotional energy and focus around these cards right now. And so again, we see, and as we're on like where to focus, we see again an image of community. We see that this person here is dressed up to match these people. So even in taking that as an action of how do you find community? And perhaps it is becoming something that's a little different. Perhaps it is adopting the ways of your community and enjoying it. And in the traditional, it is about wish fulfillment, like you're almost there. There are aspects of like you have built up this satisfaction and comfort and pleasure, success, treat yourself and indulge a little, so that this is where to focus. I would say really focus on the kind of completion and community of your heart space, of your emotional energy, that may guide you around this question of, and maybe that this is the 6 of Cups and this idea of the inner child. Maybe it's your inner child is asking this question.
Find your child. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like find how you can fit in and find this community to create. And maybe this is remembering a community that once was, treasuring that moment and looking for a new, but as you can see, like they're very different looking communities right now. So perhaps it's asking you to transform and to think about really what you're wishing for and
there
to go.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. There are a lot of emotions because she lost her husband and it's been a rough go for her. So That's a really wonderful message. Yeah, that's really wonderful. Thank you, Wildflower.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. And sorry about yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we have deck 2 for Wiki, please.
Deck 2 for Wiki.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And KK, if you're here, put in your deck. And Sweet Pea, put in what deck number, please.
All right. Wiki is just looking for a message.
Yeah, just a message on Easter Sunday. She's got the cutest dog in her picture.
Oh, really?
His name is Nico. Yeah, he's adorable. Oh.
All right, so this is one of those opportunities. It's a great teaching moment. So the 4 of coins is not always considered, and as you can sort of see from the look of this card, not always considered the best of coins or the best of happiest of cards. The 4 of coins is often about, sometimes it's a lesson about stinginess, about hoarding our resources, whether that is monetary resources, whether that is emotional or relational resources, the idea of saving for the sake of saving, like it's a cold winter out there. And so it kind of presents this idea, this image of maybe it's feeling like it's a cold winter right now, that you have to save. You won't make it through the metaphoric winter here, but again, going back to what I was talking about much earlier about that we get a choice in how we take these sometimes negative cards, is that it asks you to, like, don't save for the sake of saving. Let go of your resources. Share. Spend, whether that is actual money as the coins suit indicates, or whether that is your time, your love, your affection, your words, your thoughts, your wisdom. Share what you have. You don't need to hold on to it. That you don't need to save for winter. You'll make it through. We make it through winter together. So don't hoard your resources for the sake of. It kind of speaks really about the scarcity mindset, and I mean, particularly what's going on in the world right now, and all of the stuff. Like there is a scarcity mindset. And I'm not saying like go out and rack up a lot of credit card debt, but don't block up your own resources with the idea that I have to save. Like give a little bit of your resources, whether that is money, but it's also just our time, our energy, our love, our words, our wisdom, our compassion. To keep that flow, as we talk about coins, the idea of money becomes, you buy something, so a coin gets traded in, or you sell something, so you get a coin. Like money, the amount that money circulates in our world, like it's meant to circulate. It's not just meant to be hoarded. So money in this is just a sort of message on spirit, like don't necessarily hoard it. Let your energy, let your flow, give it and you shall receive it. That it may feel like winter right now, spring always comes.
Well, she says she's looking to sell her car and get a new one. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Wow. That's fabulous. Very nice. So right on, she said. Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's fabulous. Yes. Thank you so much. Oh my. All right, so we got Miss KK here, and she says she wants the deck. Let's see, I have it here. She wants the 2 deck, please.
The 2 deck. Oh, great.
Yeah. And she said she picked the deck before she knew it was a representation for the air element, and she's an air sign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I can't remember if I said this already, I call it my air deck because it is both light, but it's also really fractal and really clear lines, and you can generally read it pretty easily, but it doesn't beat around the bush with negative messages sometimes. And so while it is light and clear to see, and the cards communicate well with each other, if I had a larger spread, you could sort of see. So I love it. And then message, you need to hear it. Okay.
Wow, that's wonderful. In the meantime, hi, Marina. It's good to see you, and Karen Doyle. And thank you to Wiki. Thank you very much, dear. Everybody's coming back from brunches. It's time for a nap now, guys.
No, we have a lot of cups, a lot of emotional energy out there today. So this is the 2 of cups.
Okay.
And I love the Two of Cups. So again, I was talking about the cycles within cycles. Each of the minor arcana suits go from ace to 10. Ace is always the purest form of that emotion, of that elemental energy, in this case, your emotional realm. And so twos almost always indicate a choice, except with the cups, twos indicate like partnership and friendship and union. It's about romance, collaboration. It's about connecting together, pouring your cups into each other, that sort of cosmic affinity. Value, it teaches us to value the loving and nurturing aspects of ourselves, and then to also value them in others, in the other, whether that is a partner, whether that is friendship, community, whether that is family, whether that is a pet that we love. It just speaks to this lovely, like the emotional, the cups. We get to pour our emotional energy into each other. We get to pour them sometimes into a larger pool. So it speaks about love and unity and connecting with someone. And so I hope that that is ringing true right now.
Awesome. Yeah. Let us know if that's true, KK. That's nice. All right. Very cool. I'm going to just pull one while I'm waiting here for her, and I get forbidden fruit. It says to mind your own business. But what I love about it is that there's a man that's in the picture and his nose is really long. And everybody's looking at him like they have to figure out how to take care of that. It's really not their business. See, you could see the nose. Look at the nose.
Gosh.
Can you see it? It's so funny. But it's like this man already has it. It's not, that's interesting. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in that, I would even say that mine is about connecting and growth through connection, and the idea that maybe you're connecting with someone who doesn't like, maybe that's fine. Like,
yeah,
it's not.
They don't want your connection,
business.
or
Yeah.
Wow. All right. She may be. Sometimes people get knocked off and come back. So hopefully she'll be back.
Hopefully she found some resonance with that.
All right. Welcome to the new people to my channel. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. And we're just working our way through Flower Beauty and Reem. You are next. And let's see. Sweet Pea wants, what deck do you want? Sweet Pea wants the air deck.
Okay. All right. Very popular today.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet Pea. Let's see. Okay, so this sounds like a 2-card as well. Process of processing a lot of trapped energy. And then, so we need a confirmation. We need to check in with where you're at on that, and then a potential action around how to facilitate that.
Very good. Thank you for the feedback, KK. You've been pouring your love, time, and energy into your horses, who I love deeply. And there's a new love interest that's come into my life and that I've been completely resonating with. And I've been growing my friendship circle. Oh my God, you got some good things going in there, KK. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Process of trapped energy. All right, is Sweet Pea on the right path? And what action will facilitate the process? All right, if you're on the right path. Okay, so that is our Queen of Coins. And I take that to be that, yes, you are. So in particular, you asked about trapped energy in your body and mind. So the Queen is, and particularly coins, is the suit around our material realm. And in this case, I think it is very clearly an indicator of your body. That it is the Queen. So the Queen and the King have mastery over their elements, and they have it in slightly different ways, I always feel like. With wands, it feels like an easier analogy. With wands, which is the fire energy. The page is like the little kid with a sparkler, like they have this fire energy and it's new and it's exciting and they don't know what to do with it. And then the knight tends to be the questing energy, sending that energy out into the world. So a knight would be for the fire element, and it would be like the teenager shooting Roman candles at his friends. Like, look at this, control the fire, sending it out into the world. The queen is the sort of motherly figure who is keeping the cook fire going to protect and nurture their immediate environment, to also light the sparkler for the little kid, to yell at the teenager for shooting the Roman candle at the friends. And then the king would be with fire, would be the fatherly figure. And again, gender is not specific, but just the idea of these archetypes, creating the big bonfire, signaling to the rest of the campfires. The king would also be taking a torch from the fire and leading their family through the woods at night with it. And so that we have the Queen of Earth right now tells me that you're in control. Whatever you're doing, you're in control of your body. You have mastery over this material realm. It also encourages you, and as I'm hearing some maybe some question around if you're doing it right, this is like Mother Earth in a way. So it's also telling me, like, have grace on yourself. Sometimes, like a tree doesn't grow overnight. So Mother Earth knows that. So she plants the seeds, and it's sometimes, so I feel like she's giving you a message like, you're on the right path. I've got you. We're nurturing you. This is all about your body. Like, look at how powerful she is. It may take a little time. Have some nurturing, compassion, grace for yourself around this, but know that this seems like you are on the right path. The things that you are doing, particularly as it's such a question around your body, that we get this material world, material energy representation, and this mastery and this soft mastery of it, this nurturing, motherly energy around it. And so an action around speeding up the process or facilitating it. We have the Seven of Coins. So again, oh my gosh, so much connection and overlap with the body, and we're really being focused. Yeah, this is telling me that your focus is really on your material world right now. And in this instance, your material world is your material body. And so this is reap what you've sown. This is appreciate that this is the harvest card again that is coming up. This is what you're doing is working. It just you may not notice it right now. It takes time to take a seed, to plant a seed now in spring. Like, we're not going to get a pumpkin out of this seed until the fall. We're not going to get an apple for 6 months. Just know that good growth, healthy growth takes some time. And so what I'm seeing here is it's this message of you're doing the right stuff. You are in control of your material world. Have some compassion and grace for yourself, and just know that it's just going to take some time.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. So what I get is you're arguing with yourself. Really. And we do that. We don't even know that. So that trapped energy is some kind of an argument. You're arguing with the body and the spirit. So you're like, oh, where do I go? Where do we, like Blaine said. But then it says here, the next one, reserve that energy. You don't need. You're beautiful just the way you are. Look at this. She looks like the blushing bride in a ceremony here. But reserve the energy. It says it is complete under oneself. So that goes so well with what
just looking at the image, like, she just looks so light and free.
She does. And it's like, another woman.
Yes,
you've got two cards with women in it, and that's what this is. Yeah.
Yes. And those, and again, like, not to harp on gender roles, but those archetypes tend to have that compassionate, have that feminine, that motherly energy, give yourself some grace, and know you're handling it. You're doing the right thing. It just seems like it's going to take a little time. So don't fight yourself. Don't save that energy for harvesting, for the growth, if you can. And you know, have compassion.
How beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, Flower Beauty and Reem, did you put in your deck choice? You want one? He's got 1 through 4, and maybe you did. I'm going back to look, but I don't see it. And thank you, Mary Rios, for putting in your specific question. You've been very emotional, Sweet Pea. Yeah. there's a lot to be emotional about in this chaotic energy we're living in. And so then we've got our own personal stuff. So it is very, very difficult to, sort of move forward from that. All right. I'm not getting any answers from you. So I'm going to say, if you go ahead and put in your card deck choice, Flower Beauty or Ream. And I'm going to have, this is a new subscriber. And so I'm going to let her have her chance. And if you guys get on, what deck choice, Mary? He's got 4 decks.
Oh, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, you can pick whichever one you want. Or you can pick air, water, fire, or earth. Is that correct? You can pick. Yeah. All right. All right. Just waiting very patiently here for you. All right. Number 2 for Mary, she says.
Number 2, Mary. Awesome.
All right. That's been picked more than the others, hasn't it? Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah.
And Mary, it's a season of change as you approach your birthday. Well, pre-happy birthday.
Yeah.
Approach your birthday. So we're getting into Taurus season, which is the best season of all, I would have to say.
My mom was a Taurus, April 25th.
Yes, we're wonderful people. And we're always right, so we shouldn't fight.
You're always right. There you go. You're not bullheaded in any way, I suppose. Yeah.
Ferny and I are both Tauruses, so we'll see how that goes in the long run. All right, what should you be putting your energy and focus towards? Something more in your life.
Wow. Again, Flower Beauty, if you're here, I need your deck number and Ream. We only read for people here, so it's important.
Okay, Mary. So this is kind of an ironic card to pop up. What should you be putting your energy and focus towards doing something more in my life? This is the 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands is all about you're doing too much. You are literally taking on too much.
Yeah.
You're trapping yourself in this nest of wands. And it is hinting that there's burnout happening potentially. And there is this idea that we always need to do more. We should do more. Culturally, we're told we need to be doing more. We're not earning enough. We're not doing enough with our free time. We don't have enough hobbies. We don't have enough. Wands, again, is the suit of fire. And that is our energetic energy. That is our passion. That is what lights us up. That's our instinct. That's our creativity. That's our drive. And it's telling me that you are potentially feeling your energy is going in all ways. You might be taking on too much. You might be focusing on too much. And so again, as I talked earlier, and I love, like, you get to make a choice here. You might be doing that. And this isn't always the nicest card to see.
Right.
This is also the completion of a cycle. So this is the 10. So now you get the choice of moving into a fresh way. And so the lesson of this card is reconnect to what it is that drives you. Reconnect to your passion. Reconnect to what inspires you, what motivates you, what lights you up, and follow that simply. Don't take on too much, because the human mind can only focus on like 2 things at once, literally. This is getting off the subject, but the word and the idea of multitasking was invented when the earliest computers were developed in the 60s, because computers could multitask. Our brains were not meant to do that. We are not able to do that. And we have been coaxed and chosen and told that we have to be able to do that. So I would say, as you're moving into this next year, I love it that we're coming up on a birthday. We have a message at the end of a cycle. So reconnect to what it is that inspires you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, give yourself some pause to sit quietly with yourself and like, what is it that, and just work purely from that elemental thing. Like, what lights you up? What lights your candle in the morning? What gets you out of bed? And see how you can pare down, remove some of these wands, because the image here is blocked. This person cannot carry all these things, and they cannot move at once. And so they're just sort of trapped in all of the things that they've carried with them. So simplify it. If you can, reconnect to what your passion.
It's one of my favorite cards, because in the Rider-Waite, I know that the guy has a whole bunch in front of him,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's holding on to them. And it's like, oh, this is what you have to do. And they drop, you know?
I let go of some of it.
Yeah, let go of it. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Because Mary, because you're deceiving yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, you're deceiving yourself. It says here, unreliable guidance. And so you think you have to do all of those things, but you really don't have to do all those things. You just can let some of them go and use your own wisdom. Look at the wisdom of the owl here. He's beautiful. He's got his arms outstretched. And the light comes on. You've got the wisdom to carry on and do what it is that whatever Mary wants to do.
Wait, is the owl? This is me image analysis of the owl carrying spears and arrows.
The owl is sitting on top of the head of a girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking it was an image of that owl is able to take flight.
It looks like it, doesn't it? It's the feathers, but it's very interesting because the owl is on the crown chakra and the girl is holding a light. So it's like, bring it down and light your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And the owl is a silent animal. So perhaps the way is to just find some silence in life and just reconnect to, if you can, take a pause at your birthday and reevaluate where you're at.
Right. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you, Mary. And welcome to the channel.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. So Reem is here and would like deck 1, please.
Deck 1.
Yeah. Flower Beauty, if you come in, please let us know which deck you want to use. All right. Hi, Linda. It's good to see you, my dear. We're working on our second hour here, and we've got quite an interesting teacher here in Blaine. I love it. As an English professor, and I've taught drama, I've taught film, I've taught literature. It's so pleasant to have somebody who understands all of it.
Gosh, I love it. Yeah. Narrative, image, these are all.
Oh, well,
our
Mary
brains
says,
just.
Yeah, they connect. Mary says that was beautiful. And happy birthday, Mary. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Reem. Does your boyfriend love me? Okay, this feels like a 2-carder as well.
Yeah. Also, what are his intentions? Should I move on or give it a chance? All right. Back in the 70s, when I was a young girl, when I was in high school, I would ask boys out. I was never shy. They would say no, and I'd say okay, and I'd ask somebody else out. I never sat around and waited for somebody. And I also said, what are your intentions? Do you want to go out with me or do you not? But it takes a bold personality to do that, I realize.
It does, but I wonder if that's also just freeing. Once you get over that hump.
Yeah.
Because you're looking out for yourself in that way.
Yeah, you are.
Not letting someone else determine your destiny.
Right.
All right. So, does your boyfriend love me? Okay. All right. So this is the 4 of Wands. Now, Reem, I will say, just from a personal point of view, these feel like big questions that I hope this is. I'm happy to provide some context and some counsel, but these are some big questions, and but this is the 4 of Wands, which is it means marriage. So
yeah.
So it is about like everything is well. It's a 4, so it's balanced. It is about all is well. This is one of the most positive cards in the deck.
It is.
And it tends to signal stability. A celebration of effort. It is often the marriage card. Happy times and harmony at home. Escape. Yeah, celebrate life. It encourages you to celebrate life. And now, should I move on or give it a chance? Well, this is the 4 of Cups, which is, strangely enough, we see the difference in the 4s here. And the 4 of Cups is, again, it's about feeling apathetic. It's about self-pity. It is about feeling stuck. It is about dissatisfaction and dejection. Yeah, are you withdrawing from the flow of life? So the fact that we see these two together around these
he
questions.
did. Okay, he
So,
asked you for marriage. All right.
yeah, so I would
Yes.
say, but even in that you're asking us around this,
Yeah.
tells me that you're not believing this card right now. You're not believing in this happy part of it. You're
Yeah.
very much feeling just maybe feeling dissatisfaction, maybe feeling dejection, maybe you've
Maybe.
been
Yeah.
pulling yourself away from the flow of life.
Uh-huh.
It is sometimes a self-centered. There's an idea of self-centeredness to this card, that you are that kind of like, woe is me, I'm pitying myself, but you're not. Are you? So then there's also a lesson of, because this is about water and flow, like, are you sharing this emotional energy? Are you sharing your love with your partner? Maybe he's coming at you with all fire energy, and are you meeting him? Are you able to understand the flow between? Because it's crazy that they're both fours, and they're very different cards, and particularly around this issues that you're asking. This just tells me, even in just how, even that you're asking the question, how you're asking the question, tells me that you're feeling this one probably more closely than you're feeling this one.
Yeah.
And so the lesson here is to, are you keeping yourself from him? Are you self-pitying? Or are you feeling disillusioned? Are you feeling dissatisfied and dejected? And so, and around this question of the relationship and how it moves forward, I don't have an answer to give you, but it points to, it feels like you're very much in this place and not in this place. And
well, yeah, she says, I feel like he only wants my body. And so, you have to make that decision. She says, yes, it's your decision, honey. It's always your decision. I get female, that's you.
Oh, yeah.
I get the Buddha, and I love the Buddha because the Buddha also symbolizes fulfilling one's destiny or positivity. And then I get the bull. It's you're being stubborn and uncompromising, or he is, but it sounds like you're the one that doesn't know, not him.
And I'd even point out, as seeing the female card, like, so this is fire energy and this is water energy, and they could not clash more right now. They are in theory the same cards, and if they're four, they should be on the same place, but they come from very different energies. So it feels like there's a block between you guys, that if there's a way to get the flow, and fire being passion, so that kind of hints at that you feel like all he wants is your body, and that you're perhaps in an emotional place and you would like to share. He wants to share his fire with you. You want to share your water, and there's just all you guys. Maybe you're making steam right now. It's not.
Yeah, true that.
It might, each energy quenches the other, and neither one can survive in that way.
It's interesting that you said steam, because it's very often used in sexual terms, a steamy relationship, so that's interesting. Wow. Reem, ultimately you make the decision, sweetheart, and I'm sorry that we can't do that for you, but I find that Blaine's cards are really fascinating. You might want to go back and listen again. Oh, Ferny, what you got to say? Let's see.
What's he
He's
saying?
only connecting physically, and she's needing more of an emotional, mental connection.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. And I'm sorry to say this, and it isn't with everybody, but it seems like men in their 20s, maybe early 30s, they aren't quite ready for more than.
I wasn't.
Right.
I mean, we learn as we grow. And
that's right.
And part of learning as we grow is we have to want to learn as we grow. And
we do. Be willing to do.
We'll never want to change.
Yeah.
But I can tell this one's telling me that you're really in a place of feeling, you're feeling dissatisfied around this. And maybe he's pushing for this thing, and you're not.
It isn't working for you.
Yeah, they are coming up against each other. There is conflict there. And so I'm sorry that feels that way around your relationship.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Ferny. I'm glad you're still here. So we did, the other lady is not around.
Okay.
And what I try to do is at the very end, I do what I call a collective read.
Yes.
And it's just the energy of the group that's here or watch us later. And I just want to say that you can pick any deck you want, of course. Pick the one you love the most. I'll pull a couple of cards. It's what the energy of us at this particular time is. But I do want to mention again that Blaine has the information for Blaine is in the show notes. Please reach out to him. He's doing readings now, and
all online. So it's
yeah, I know. And maybe he'll have eventually have a channel. And if he does, we'll bring him back and let you know what it is. So yeah. So let's see what I want to come up with here for this. So this is for you all. It's a collective read. Oh, wow. Oh, I love it when I pick cards from different decks and they tell a story. Oh, all right. So for me, this is what we're feeling. We would just like to escape some days. Boy, is that ever true. Every time I get this card, I hear, do you like pina coladas? Taking a walk in the rain, you know, the escape song. There are days we just like to get in a boat and go away from the conflict.
Wow.
And boy, oh boy, look at all the people. We've got a lot of people that are conflicted about how they're feeling, what they're doing, what's going on in the world. It's not just here. And so we would love to escape. But the last card I get is the bison. It's beautiful. It's Native American. This gal is laying on the bison's back with, you know, the bison's allowing it. And the bison has all this gold accoutrements on it. And it says abundance.
Wow.
So this is the future, I think. We will come back to it. But let's see what Blaine has.
All right. So I took your advice. Let's do one of each.
Okay.
Let's see where our energetic energies are. All right. So for our Earth. Oh, I love it. Oh, thank God. The Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is about leaving a bad place for a better place, but we're not quite there yet. It's a liminal space. We're on our way, but we also we kind of have to do it ourselves. We have to do it ourselves. So it empowers us to see that there is a better place, and we have to get to it not necessarily all by ourselves, but we have to put some effort into it. And then our air, the 10 of Coins, which is about prosperity and longevity. It is a little, as this image, where it's kind of hidden, it's kind of tucked away. So we're not there yet. But even as the cards relate to each other, you begin to see the story they tell together. This one is heading towards this place of prosperity and balance and giving and longevity. And then for our fire, the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is about being. Whereas the Magician is about creating and doing, the High Priestess is about the inner quest and being and search out our own inner truths. And sometimes it's not the most community building card, but sometimes we have to know how we think on the inside before we can act on the outside. And where our emotional card, our water goes, the Nine of Pentacles, which is, again, a card of luxury. She's in an orchard. She's picking grapes. Enjoy what we've accumulated. It's okay to have accumulation. It is okay to have abundance. Enjoy the abundance that you have grown, that you have worked toward. And so this is telling me that we have a little bit of soul searching. Know that we are on our way to get there collectively, but it will be a place of wealth, whether that is monetary wealth or whether that is what I hope spiritual wealth, that it is there. And it encourages us to take the action.
Exactly what this said. I mean, so to speak. We have the escape, and that's exactly what. When you pulled that was amazing. Right. Oh my God! Right. The conflict we have to get through, and the abundance awaiting us all.
Right. And as I'm looking at these, they're both looking off in this direction. So we look forward where we're heading.
Right. Right. Not backwards, because you can't go backwards. No. Blaine, you are amazing.
Oh, such a delight.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps. Ferny, I love you. Thank you for sending Blaine my way.
So much fun.
And yeah, and I'm sure a lot of other people will be interested in working with you as well.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, I'd love to see some of these faces on the other side of
Absolutely.
And we'll really dig into it. I love it.
That's great. All right, everybody. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon. And much love. Thank you again, Blaine.
Thanks, everybody.
Hang on, Blaine. Don't go away. All right.
No.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.